Hello guys. Hey and welcome to Allergy Pals Monthly. My name's Julia and I'm so excited to welcome you guys to this month's session. If you weren't here last time, here's how it works. We'll talk about a certain topic and have some fun polls, interactive activities, and a question and answer period at the end. This month's theme is food allergies and the holiday season, which I think is a super important topic to cover because there's just so many things to do with get-togethers and food and the sharing of food that I really think it's important for us to cover and for us to make sure that we're being safe. So before we get started, I just want to go over with how to participate. So there's two ways of how to participate. There's a question and answer box where you guys can feel free to write any thoughts in there, and then I'll be able to see them, and then we can communicate that way. You can also participate by raising your hand. So that'll be on the side in your GoToMeeting panel. So if you raise your hand, you'll have the ability to actually speak. So we'll unmute you, and then you can speak with your microphone. So first poll question. So what's your favorite season of the year? Winter, spring, summer, or fall? All right, so half of you guys said summer and half of you guys said fall. So right now we're not in the season that you guys like the most, and that is totally okay. So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of background information about me. So I'm allergic to peanuts, tree nuts, fish, and shellfish. I like to swim, read, and watch sports. My favorite thing about winter holidays, I guess, would be having lots of time to get together with friends and family. Like there's so many different things that you can do, especially where I live in Toronto. So I like doing that with my friends and family. And then my favorite holiday food is gonna have to be lasagna. I'm from an Italian family, so our Christmas our holidays always start with a big lasagna meal. So holiday game, guys, true or false? So I want you guys to type your answers in the question box below. It's perfectly fine to eat mistletoe. True or false? 2, people can be allergic to the cold. True or false? Okay. And Hanukkah is celebrated over 9 days. True or false? Let's go over these, guys. So I have the answers. Keep in mind what your answers were, and let's see if they match up. So it's perfectly fine to eat mistletoe. False. You guys were exactly right for this one. Mistletoe can be toxic, so it's not good for you to eat it. You can get very, very sick. Number 2, people can be allergic to the cold. That one's actually true. It's called cold urticaria. So what that does is it causes hives after exposure to the cold. And then Hanukkah is celebrated over 9 days. You guys said false, and you're right. Hanukkah is celebrated over 8 days. Good job, guys. Hopefully you came out of that learning something new. So raise your hand if you think winter holidays can be tricky with food allergies. Are there any reasons why that you might want to share? I'll share something. So for me, winter holidays with my food allergies can be a little bit tricky just because a lot of my family can't speak English very well. So it's sometimes very hard for me to explain my allergies with them. Even though they've known me all my life, it's still very hard for them to understand what my allergies mean. And Mackenzie also agrees. Yes, it can be tricky. Totally. There's so much food, so many celebrations that sometimes you don't know if things are going to be safe or not. So there are different celebrations. So they're family, friends, and food. Poll question. What's your favorite thing to eat over the holidays? Select 1. Meat / poultry, potatoes, veggies, treats, or maybe something else. All of you guys said treats. Oh my gosh, me too. I'm gonna have to say I love the treats. Me and my sisters tonight are actually gonna make a gingerbread house. Don't worry, it's nut free. So there are some holiday meals that people typically have, depending on on what their likes are, maybe their cultural backgrounds. So many common holiday foods can actually contain allergies. So for example, there's some turkey, which has buttermilk in it, which is a dairy. Stuffing also has wheat and spices in it. Figgy pudding has egg, and latke has egg and wheat. And then let's not get, for all of you nut allergy sufferers or fish allergy sufferers, I know in some cultures on Christmas Eve, on some cultures there is like a day where you're only supposed to eat fish, or a lot of us also have lots of chocolates that come to our house and stuff like that, which could contain nuts. So there's also seasonal foods and treats, like I was saying before. There's candy canes, cookies, baked goods, gingerbread houses, veggie chips and dip, and eggnog. All of these things, though they sound delicious, can also be very dangerous because sometimes the ingredients are not on there, and sometimes they just, you don't know if you can eat it or not. Can you guys think of any other seasonal food treats? I think we covered a lot of them. Okay, let's talk a little bit about relatives. So there's a lot of the times over the holidays is the time where you get together with extended family and friends, where they don't deal with allergies every day. So maybe they don't understand it as much as you do, or your mom or your dad does. The number one thing I can recommend to you guys is double checking all the food. So if anything has an ingredient list on it, make sure you're double checking and ask your parents for help. Ask them to ask your relatives what they're making in advance. So let's practice a tough situation. What would you tell a relative in this situation? So you can either write in the question box below, or you can raise your hand to speak. Uncle Joe told me that Aunt Sarah's pudding is safe for you. Here you go. How would we respond to that? So I'll give you guys some help. So I think the biggest key for this question is the fact that it's going through multiple people. So Uncle Bill is talking about something Uncle Joe got from Aunt Sarah. It's Aunt Sarah's pudding, but Uncle Joe told Uncle Bill, who's telling you that it's safe. Now, to me, it sounds like it's going through a lot of people, and that doesn't have to necessarily be a good thing, because sometimes it becomes like broken telephone. People forget things. People don't hear things properly. So a best way to go about this is maybe saying, hey, thanks so much. I'm actually just going to go double check with Aunt Sarah. And then that way you can ask Aunt Sarah what the ingredients are. Mackenzie also gave a great suggestion. Mackenzie's response would be, no, thank you. I am only allowed to eat treats that my parents check, which is absolutely true. If something doesn't have an ingredient list on it, maybe you don't want to eat it. So just saying no, thank you is making sure you're being safe. Thank you guys so much for your responses for that one. Okay, poll question. So will you be helping to bake something for the holidays? Everyone says maybe. Cool. Me and my sisters have already baked a couple of things. Maybe you guys will too. Okay, holiday parties. When you guys are going to holiday parties, it's super important to inform them about your allergies in advance. So letting them know what your allergies are, and maybe getting an idea of what the menu is going to look like, or the stuff they're going to serve. That way you know what you can and can't have. I would also definitely watch for snack food, things that don't have ingredients on it, treats that they've baked, because a lot of these things can also come into contact. If something doesn't have an allergy list, best way to not eat it. Another thing that I would say is to bring your own treats. I always do this. So whenever we go over anywhere for the holidays, I always make myself in charge of bringing over a dessert. That way I can make the dessert at home. That way I know what's in it and I know that it's safe for me. Another thing that what I would recommend is for you guys to carry your epinephrine with you. Even though you take 1,000,001 steps to making sure you're safe, something can still happen. And if something still happens by accident, you want to be prepared by carrying your epinephrine with you. So last thing I would tell you guys to do is anything for holiday crafts. For example, making a gingerbread house or decorating cookies. You guys want to double check ingredients so that you know it's safe for you. Okay guys, we're going to play a game of Allergy, Wheel of Fortune. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly reveal letters of a special phrase. You guys are going to type your guesses in the question box below. And first one to guess the correct phrase wins. Are you ready? Okay, so that's the phrase, and I'm going to slowly start to reveal them. Anybody have it? Oh, we're close. And Mackenzie was the first one to get it. Have a safe and happy holiday. Great job, guys. So let's go over decorations. I think this is a super important topic to cover just because sometimes after holidays, our decorations can stay up a little bit longer than we expect. And this is why maybe right after the new year, we should probably get out that broom and that vacuum a little bit quicker. So there's trees, candles, wreaths, and decorations that people oftentimes use. These things can be a host for mold and dust. They can also be very problematic for asthma because these things collect dust and the dust is going to bother you. So speak up if you're feeling symptoms, if you're feeling like you're not feeling the best, or it's kind of hard to breathe, or you're feeling very like stuffed up in your nose. Make sure you tell someone. So keep your asthma under control with your inhalers. I always make sure that I carry my inhaler with me everywhere I go, just in case. And a good idea is to wrap up everything tightly after the holidays. So making sure you're putting everything away where it's supposed to be. Okay, guys, poll question. So what's your favorite thing to do in the snow? Build a snowman, snow angel, snowball fight, ski/snowboarding, or toboggan? All right, so we have a bunch of people saying snowball fight, and then a few of you guys saying skiing or snowboarding. I'm jealous because I'm such a bad skier and snowboarder. I wish I was good at that because it's so much fun. All right, guys, so let's go into question time. So the rules for question time, no parent questions. Sorry, guys, just kids. So you can either type your question or raise your hand to be unmuted over the phone. Keep it short and sweet. No medical advice, sorry, and one question each. 2 if there's time. So I'll cover one that I got in advance. So what can you do if a relative just doesn't get it? So sometimes we come across people who don't really understand allergies, and that could be for so many reasons. You've lived with your allergies all your life, so you've become the best expert at it. But sometimes people have a really hard time understanding what an allergy means, and that's okay. It's hard though when those people in our family are the people who we love. When some people don't live with it every day and have limited experience with it, it can be difficult for them to grasp how important it is. So the best thing for you guys to do is to help them understand. So tell them about a time when you had a tough situation or a reaction. Maybe a close call. Then you should give them a hint or a tip of how they can help in the future. For example, maybe making a small change to the recipe. Like if they're making a cheesecake and they like putting some crushed almonds on top, maybe taking the almonds off. won't change the cheesecake. And then show them how to use your auto injector. It might make it a bit more real for them. Sometimes people have a hard time understanding something if they don't get the full picture. If you tell them about yourself, if you tell them about a story, and you actually show them what can happen, might make them a little bit more inclined to take it seriously or to understand more. And I totally get that it's easy to get frustrated, but try to work with your family, not against them. So Mackenzie says, what should I do if someone tells me to eat something that I'm allergic to? Thank you so much for that question, Mackenzie. Well, I think first and foremost, you should definitely say no, but say no in the nicest way possible. You don't have to be rude about it. Just let them know, hey, hey, I actually can't eat that. I have a serious allergy to it. And I would take the opportunity to let them know about your allergy, to give them a little bit more information about it. That way they understand a little bit more. I hope that answers your question. I'm going to answer another one that I got, guys. So what do I do if I can't eat anything at my class party? So there's 3 things that I would do. So number 1, I would ask about the party in advance and remind people about your allergies. Number 2, I would bring my own food that day to guarantee that you have a safe treat. I always make sure I keep a treat in my bag, somewhere in my bag. That way, if I'm ever in the situation, I can take out the treat and I can eat it. And then focus on the fun, not the food. An event around the holidays, yes, there's so much food around, guys, but the event is about making connections with your family and friends. It's not about the food that you eat. So I'll answer one more. Chestnuts, so you know that song, Chestnuts Roasting Over an Open Fire? Are they a nut? And this is a really interesting question because I actually also didn't know if chestnuts were a nut or not until last year. Guys, I've been on this earth for 24 years and I had no idea if a chestnut was a nut. So yes, they are considered a tree nut. Some people are allergic to specific tree nuts, so check with your allergist about which ones are okay for you. That was something that I did. I made sure I went to my allergist because chestnuts in my family are a tradition that we eat. And I made sure to get tested by my allergist for it. I'll answer the last one, guys. So can hot chocolate have allergens in it? The answer is absolutely. So most have milk mixed in, which is going to be an alarm for dairy allergies. But some powders can also may contain allergens such as peanuts and nuts. I've also seen like hot chocolate with O. Henry bars in it, which is a nut. So you need to be very careful. So it's best to double check the ingredients with all food and drinks. Some apple ciders also have various recipes and spices included. So it's best to check the ingredients in advance. So guys, if you want to know any more information about the holiday season with allergies, visit foodallergycanada.ca/holidays. They'll have some great tips on staying safe over the holiday season. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and I really hope you can make it for next time. I want to give a special thanks to the University of Alberta for the original online mentorship program and TD Securities for their financial support. Lastly, please take a second to fill in our survey afterwards. We appreciate your feedback. Okay guys, so just to give you guys a little bit of info for next month's session, it's going to be January 28th, 2018. It's going to be from 7 to 8 p.m. EST. The topic is going to be allergies and anxiety. So you guys can register at foodallergycanada.ca/events. You guys can also watch past Allergy Pal monthly webinars at foodallergycanada.ca/webinars. Thanks guys, have a great and safe holiday.